Dear students, this is Olga Savina, and this is our laboratory experiment in which we will talk about Le Chatelier's principle. Let's recall what it is, and let's discuss it a little bit. So all chemical reactions proceed until equilibrium is reached, which means basically that we have two processes. We have forward reaction when reagents form products, and we have reverse reaction when products, so-called product, form reagents. And the rates of these two processes actually equal. This is one thing that we can learn just looking at this equation when A reacts with B, producing C and D. Very often in chemical synthesis, we are interested in producing some chemicals, and we perform a lot of reactions, and many of them are reversible reactions, and we are interested in obtaining the product. So how we can shift the equilibrium towards the product? This is the question. We have to recall the Le Chatelier's principle, which states that when a system in chemical equilibrium is disturbed by a change of temperature, pressure, or a concentration, the system shifts the equilibrium composition in a way that tends to counteract this change of variable. That means the system will shift the equilibrium to compensate the change. Okay, let's look at our equation. A reacts with B, producing C and D. And let's say we are interested in the production of C. How we can get more C, the highest percent yield of C? What we can do? First, we can use excess of reagents. Let's say we can use excess of B. And so in this case, the equilibrium will be shifted towards the product because B will be consumed, B will react with A, and the equilibrium will be shifted to the right. Another way how we can do that, we can just remove D. If we remove D, the system will respond producing more C and D, and again the equilibrium will be shifted towards the product. Also, we can consider heat and change heat. If, let's say, the reaction is endothermic, and in this case heat is absorbed, we can consider heat as the reagent. So, and do the same. If we apply heat, the equilibrium will be shifted towards the product. If we remove heat, what will happen? The equilibrium, if we remove heat or cool down our mixture, the equilibrium will be shifted to the left, towards reagents. This is how we can adjust our mixture and get more product. Okay, let's talk about our experiment. So we will study the application of Le Chatelier's principle, and we will study several reactions. So first reaction, it is the reaction between iron 3+ ions and thiocyanate ions with the production of iron 3 thiocyanate complex with a charge 2+. So iron solution in our case will have the yellow color, thiocyanate solution colorless, and our complex will have very intense red color. Just checking the colors, looking at the colors, we can determine whether the equilibrium shifted towards products or towards reagents. Let's discuss it. Let's say this one is yellow, this one is no color, and this one is red. Let's just hypothetically discuss what we can do to get more iron 3 thiocyanate complex. So if we add iron in our solution at equilibrium, when we have present iron 3 plus ion, thiocyanate ion, and this complex, and the equilibrium has reached, what will happen? Of course, the reaction will be shifted towards the product, and we will have more intense red solution, right? This is how it works. Next example, it's slightly different. We will study the effect of the addition of an acid to an equilibrium mixture. And here is our mixture at equilibrium. Nickel 2 plus and ammonia forming complex. Nickel 2 ammonia complex. And in this case, we have, oh, forgot the subscript. Okay, let me fix it. Okay, let me do it right now. And this is our colored complex. Okay, here it is. We will study the effect of addition of an acid to an equilibrium mixture. And of course, nickel with ammonia on the left side, nickel will have one color, let's say color 1. This one will have color 2, another color. Okay, so what will happen? So this one, let's say it's going to be green, and this one is going to be blue. Okay, so if we add an acid, what will happen? In this case, acid will react with a base. In our case, base, it is ammonia. That means in this case, we will remove ammonia from the mixture, which will shift the equilibrium towards the reagents, to the left side. This is how we can adjust our equilibrium and reach a new equilibrium. So I hope it's clear. Okay, let's discuss the next reaction. And so next reaction, it's the effect of an addition of an acid and a base on an equilibrium involving an indicator. So regarding indicators, I'm asking you to read Appendix D when it was explained very clearly and briefly. So, but we will work with the methyl orange. So methyl orange, it is the acid base indicator, which actually a weak acid, this one. And in acidic solution, it has red color. In acidic, when it's acidic. In basic solutions, when it is, let me pick up the color. When it's a basic state, it has yellow color. Yellow color. Let's discuss what can happen if we add an acid to our system at equilibrium. So when we add acid, that means what? We add in these ions, H3O plus ions. We add in these ions, so more and more. That means the equilibrium will be shifted to the left, right? To counteract the change to the left, and the color of the solution will be red, supposed to be red, right? What will happen when we add a base? We add in base into our solution, and so in this case the equilibrium, the base will react with this acid, base will react with the acid, and the concentration of acid will be decreasing on the right side. That means what? The equilibrium will be shifted to the right. And we expect to have yellow color. This is how it works. Okay, next reaction. The effect of acids and bases on the solubility of calcium hydroxide in water. So here is our reaction, which is at equilibrium, which contains of calcium hydroxide on the left side, and calcium 2 plus ion and 2 OH minus ions on the right side. Okay, So let's think what can happen if we add acid into our system. So we add in acid, and acid will react with the base, right? And the concentration of the base will be decreased. So that means the equilibrium will be shifted to the right to produce more OH minus ions, right? That means our compound, which is actually a solid over here on the left side, will dissolve. And when we add a base, what will happen? Let's discuss that. We add in base more, and more. So the equilibrium will be shifted to the left to decrease the amount of base. And so insoluble precipitate will form. This is how it works. Another reaction, the effect of temperature on an equilibrium mixture of cobalt 2 plus and Cl minus and complex cobalt Cl4 2 minus. So in this case, we can consider again the concept of when we consider heat as a product or a reagent, and follow the same rules that we did before. Let's say if the reaction is endothermic, we need heat to produce this colored complex, right? And if we apply heat, complex will be produced and the color of the solution will be changed and will be more intense, right? Let's say we remove heat. We remove heat, there is no heat. What will happen? The equilibrium will be shifted to the left to decrease the amount of this complex and increase the amount of cobalt 2 plus and Cl minus ions. I hope the concept is clear and it will be very easy for you to understand what's going on just doing this experiment or observing the reaction. So we have to have test tubes, and all solutions should be discarded into waste containers. Okay, so let's talk about first reaction. We will have 3 test tubes and we will label them as 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3, and we will prepare a solution that consists of iron nitrate and potassium thiocyanate in water, and we will add the same amount to every test tube, and then we will add 20 drops of iron nitrate into the first one, meaning what? We add in iron 2 plus, iron 3 plus ions. In the second one, we add in thiocyanate ions and see what will happen. In the third one, we add in just water. Okay, and see how the system reacts. So second part, equilibrium of nickel and ammonia. We will have our test tube, and we will add nickel nitrate into this one, 10 drops, and then we will add 6 molar ammonia until the color changes and intensifies, and we will record the color. And finally, we add in hydrochloric acid into the same test tube and see how the system, how our color changes. This is what we're doing. Remember, we discussed that acid will react with the base, and the concentration of a base will be decreased and it will affect the equilibrium. Okay. Next, we will study the equilibrium involving metal orange. We have to have 2 small beakers, A for acid and B for a base. And for the beaker marked A, we have to add 10 ml of DI water and 4 drops of a 6 molar hydrochloric acid. Swirl. It's going to be our A, acidic solution. To the beaker marked B, we will add 10 milliliters of DI water and 4 drops of 6 molar sodium hydroxide solution and swirl. 2 beakers. Then we will take a clean test tube and add 1 milliliter of water, 4 drops of indicator, I will write it like methyl orange, and 2 drops of the dilute acidic solution from A. It's going to be our acidic solution. Record the color. Then we have to add drops of dilute basic solution until the color changes. In the same test tube, we add in drops of basic solution until the color changes. Record the color. And then we add drops of the dilute acid again until the color changes. And record this color. Okay. Next, studying solubility of calcium hydroxide. To a small clean beaker, we have to add 6 molar solution of sodium hydroxide, 5 milliliters of it in a beaker. We add in sodium hydroxide and we add in calcium nitrate. Calcium nitrate. Basically, we're forming our precipitate. We're forming our calcium hydroxide, which will precipitate from this solution. A solid will form. Then we have to filter it out and collect our solid on a filter paper. Okay, we will collect this solid. Then, in a small beaker, we will place our precipitate using a metal spatula and add 10 milliliters of water, stir. And then we will explore the properties of our solution disturbing the equilibrium. So we will add 2 milliliters of hydrochloric acid and record our results. Then we will add 5 milliliters of sodium hydroxide solution and record the results and make a conclusion. What substance formed? What substance is formed in this case? Okay, and then finally, we have to heat our solution. And not our solution. We have to just heat small beaker containing DI water. Okay, and sorry, I messed it up. So substance formed. Yeah, that's it. This is what we have to do, and this is our next experiment. In next experiment, we have to study the reaction between cobalt and chloride ion with the formation of cobalt Cl4 2+ ion. We have to heat water until it boils. We have to prepare this beaker. Then we have to take clean test tube and add 5 drops of cobalt nitrate into this test tube, record the color. Then add 5 drops of hydrochloric acid, concentrated hydrochloric acid, and record the color. And the color will be this complex. And then add 5 drops of water, shake, record the color. And then we have to place this test tube into the boiling water and wait a few minutes and record the color. And we will see how the temperature will affect the equilibrium in this reaction. That's it. We have to cool it down and record the color again. That's it. Some resources actually posted. I will post a lot of Jove videos for you, so feel free to watch them. Read Appendix D in the lab manual and enjoy the lab.